last January, Paul showed me this email from Michael and said, oh, you might be really interested in this. Well, I had just returned from an archaeological dig in Bulgaria, where I spent 2 weeks in a hole, and pretty much all I found were rocks. And every time I thought I had something, I got really excited, and I would call the archaeologist over, and everybody stopped, and she would say, oh, just a rock. And I was just devastated by this. And it's ironic that now all I'm actually looking for is really rocks. So at least, I feel somewhat vindicated in this. So Paul showed me this email, and I thought, oh, this is great. I'm sort of this like aspiring little Indiana Jones type, and I thought, oh, this is going to be great. And the amazing thing about teaching at the Lighthouse Charter School is that we do things a bit differently. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this school, but we have a project-based, inquiry-based approach. And so what that basically means is we pose a question to our students, and we allow them to do the work and to draw their own conclusions rather than telling them this is how it is. So we offer this seminar program 3 times a year, which is similar to an elective program. And so I don't think any of us really had any idea what we were getting ourselves into. I counted my emails yesterday, 500 emails from Michael since January. So I'm not sure.
That's why, Marsh, you don't have any email.
Right. So we had this amazing group of students join us in the spring, and then I was fortunate to continue with some others in the fall this past year. And we sort of started by, Michael came in and gave us a presentation. And basically, the question that we threw at the students was, do you think the Pilgrims used the natural features of Cape Cod to conduct this survey? And along the, throughout the whole thing, there was at some point a question of, well, is there a Volkswagen-sized rock at the bottom of Cape Cod Bay in the center point? Oh my God, the next thing I knew, they're measuring the size of my Volkswagen Jetta and finding the density. This is the kind of student that we have at the charter school, which is amazing. So if they don't mind, I'd love for Joey and Henry and Dan to come up.
Yeah.
You guys want to come up for a minute? They have really made this work. So one of the reasons I think that we have such great little historians at the charter school is because I basically say to them, you can't, first of all, you can't believe everything you read, but secondly, how do you know what to believe? And most importantly, you gotta back it up with primary documents. They've read, and I teach ancient civilizations in 7th grade, they've read the Code of Hammurabi, they've read, everything, the Epic of Gilgamesh, they've read all sorts of things, Socrates, Plato. And so these guys know better than to just accept some theory without some real meat on the bones and some real documentation. So basically, we put it out there, but what these guys have done is the dirty work. Joey just last week is pulling roots out of the ground behind Anthony's, in Comaquid, and he's finding all these things. And they've been working on the translation of the Eastham town records. I can't even read them. They've got magnifying glasses, and they're down there, and it's amazing. And Henry is now a graduate of the charter school, and he's in his freshman year at the high school. So I wonder, Henry, not to put you on the spot, if you'd like to tell us maybe how your sort of experience as a student of history in this seminar may have prepared you for high school, or at the very least just talk about your experience with it.
Well, I took this seminar because I just thought it would be interesting, kind of something that no one had ever discovered before, and to discover something that no one had ever even looked at. It seemed like kind of just a puzzle that needed to be solved and everything, so I just thought it would be interesting, so I signed up.
Can everybody hear him? Henry, a little loud. So
I signed up, and I just, of course, none of us knew what we were getting into, the 500 emails. So we went out and we just started discovering these rocks, and it...
Here, Henry.
Yeah.
And there it is.
Yeah, that's the X rock that we found at Orleans Town Cove, and what we did was we went down to Snow Library in Orleans, and we were examining the photos of H.K. Cummings, his name?
Yep.
What he had took. along
He had a
the road.
4x5 camera with glass plates, and this is from the collection at Snow Library.
So we took the photocopies of them, and we went down over to Town Cove in Orleans.
You
down
see,
there.
you see right here, Joey, step aside there. See, Town Cove is right here. Okay.
So we went down there, and I lived on the beach, or on the water on Town Cove. So we went over to my house, and we walked down the stairs, and I thought I had recognized some of those rocks because I had lived there all my life, and I'd walked my dogs on the beach every day. So we walked down, and eventually we came across, well, what we were doing was we were just holding up the pictures and trying to find the angle and trying to find out which rocks were there and if they had been moved or not. And eventually we did come across that, what is that rock right along that line. And it's just been amazing.
Just to add on, we're calling this line right here, the first angle off the magnetic north line, which is the Namskaket line. We have the, as Danielle says, we have the primary description of this bound line, which was used to lay out the town of Eastham, the 7 families that split off from Plymouth Colony and moved to the Cape in 1643. Do you see how this, go ahead, Doug. Do you see it there, folks? See how the 7 lots were laid out right here? Using this, go ahead, Henry.
So yeah, this is a poster of, so we went down to Town Cove right there, and that's how it was lotted up when they first came here.
See the crossing line goes right through Town Cove?
Right through Town Cove.
That's where this rock is.
Yep, right on the line.
So
Although
Henry,
Henry, tell them about what we think about the water.
What we think about the water is, well, should I say about how we went out on the cove?
Sure,
Yeah, we
sure.
went out on the cove in boats with divers, or the people